Ready, Lyndon? We'll call this Buhl City Council meeting to order on October 4th, 2023. Ryan. 2022. I'm just looking something else. They're still looking 6:30. Okay. Ryan, please take the roll.
Councilor Pastore.
Here.
Councilor Marcus.
Here.
Councilor Carter.
Here.
Councilor Lehman.
Here.
Mayor Clark.
Here. Citizens Forum. Looks like no one's here.
Mr. Mayor,
Yo.
can I have something to say about?
Oh, you do want to tell? Okay.
I just wanted to ask Ryan if you want to have Trent plan on working on the alleys at all before.
Yeah.
Or today. Okay, because I know there's quite a few of them that are pretty bad. So.
Yeah, we're gonna get back into the alleys and things like that, and just for the council, Mayor, if I can just go into my quick.
Go ahead.
Quick report. We did post for the position that the council approved for that part-time temporary. We got a time frame that we'll have someone gone basically end of October through February, March. So we did post that. So if anybody's interested, also absentee balloting, voting did start, so that can be done up until now to the election from 8 to 4 at City Hall. So that's about all I have.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead.
can I speak for a fire department?
You can do whatever you want, Stuart. You have the floor.
I just want to say we had a fire department in September. We didn't have one this month because of our new bylaws. Last month we did approve a guy resigned, so we approved Preston McDowell, or not Dowell, Preston Dowell. He's been a great person to have on the fire department. Showed up when there was calls. He's gonna be sadly missed.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's it.
Okay, sure. I just got to double check for my own self, Stuart. It's not about
they
you.
were out doing some of the alleys already today.
Because I just noticed that there was, in the last month, there was quite a few that were bad, and I was like,
There's a couple of potholes, yeah. But they are out doing it.
Okay, we'll move to Citizens Forum. There's no one here, it looks like. Council additions to the agenda. I'd like to make A1, and it's before you there. And it's a resolution 22-36, the Mesabi Fit Coalition request. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Stuart. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Carol. Comments, questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion is carried. 6, the consent agenda, minutes, regular city council meeting of September 20th, 2022. Claims, payroll 19, $13,856.52. Payroll, September, $2,300.50. Accounts payable, $36,857.06 for a grand total of $53,072.58. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So move.
Moved by Carol. Is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Brandon. Further comment, question, discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. That motion is carried. We'll move on to number 7, business. Project updates, JPJ Engineering. Welcome, John. The floor is yours.
Thank you. The Golden Top's been on the new addition project. They did the subcut and put the geotextile down and are bringing in class 5. So it's starting to shape up pretty good. They filled in to the south and to the west a little bit, to the low spots. Their manholes and catch basins are coming in middle of next week. So that work on the end of the road over to Jefferson, there's about a 30-foot gap, and they're waiting for their manholes to come in. So they're supposed to be in here, and then they'll finish that up to class 5 up to Jefferson. So I think it's coming together. I don't know. We're not going to get any curb gutter. We've been talking whether or not we want to put the first lift of blacktop down yet this year. They want to see how the class 5 firms up, and wouldn't be till late or, middle or late October anyways, so.
They're using composite.
Huh?
They're using cement composite on that blacktop, or class 5. They're using the good stuff.
Yeah,
It's not class 5. It's the cement class 5 mix,
okay.
the composite. And yeah, it's gonna be firm up right away, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the issue is the road's 32 feet wide. We're not getting for the guy which was planned from pre-con, and we've only paid like a 24-foot section of blacktop to have access in there and do the rest of it next spring, so. I think it's gonna freeze up obviously in November and then thaw again in the spring, so it'll be open to drive through, it just won't have any blacktop. I mean, I don't know if we wanna make that decision soon or just, I know we talked about it at one of the other council meetings, let's just hold off on doing the blacktop. It sounds like there's some interested people who wanna start building maybe this fall or in the spring.
It'd just be unnecessary wear and tear on it.
Yeah,
Well, like I say, that composite's gonna set up, so it's gonna be good. It's gonna pack down.
I agree, I mean, I think it'll be fine.
Yeah.
They gotta finish it though this fall and they plan on it, so it's,
What's all if they get the stuff in next week to put in the manholes or whatever? Okay.
and you just gotta do some grading and seeding and then the rest of it will be done in the spring. I think we give them like the June 15th completion date in the spring to get it all done.
And Casper's in town?
And Casper finally showed up to do LEF. They dug out the alley. You drive by there, they're down to the asbestos pipe in the wall, so a big tech's gonna be here tomorrow. They're gonna remove the asbestos and bring it to wherever they bring it, someplace in Duluth they properly dispose of. So then once that out, they'll finish removing the rest of the vault and can finish the water line loop. And there's like 2 water services that need to be, 3 water services that have to be reconnected, so they should be done with the alley F. Water, sewer, then that still gets a complete subcut with class 5, to rebuild that alley. We just did that first little short section earlier this year, and then the long section will be finished soon here. So that's kind of update on. Any questions or?
Just nice to see all this coming together
Yeah.
And
before the snow.
Casper still has some general restoration work that they'll
Yes, they
take
still
over.
got a punch list. We want to probably get USDA over here, the engineers, and kind of do a final inspection. We always have a punch list, items that need to be completed, so.
Mr. Mayor. John, Ryan, you know about it, the garage that has that tar on it.
Yes.
If that will be done this winter, before winter, do you know, or is it going to be next year?
I don't remember.
So we can answer her.
We had, I can't remember, I think it was on the punch list too, but there was a garage over there that had, when they tarred it, there was a bunch of, I don't know what
Jack oil or
yeah, some oil that's built up and stayed in the garage doors that needs to be scrubbed off.
Okay, we have our guy here tomorrow with Casper, and Zach's the foreman. I'll have Stefan drive Zach around, look at all these punch list items.
It's the Woodbridge Street alley,
Woodridge, okay.
yeah, and Forest.
And Trent has a list of
Yeah.
things
Okay.
that came into the
So
city.
that we're down back in town, there's a few items on them, yeah.
Well, then Trent will have to check with them to make sure that
Yeah.
they go through. Okay, that's perfect.
Thank you.
That's a plan.
Thank you.
Anything else for John? Okay, perfect. Thank you, John. Now we'll go to A1, Resolution 22-36, Masabi Fifth Coalition. Attached is Resolution 22-36. The Mesabi Fit Coalition was formed after the announcement that the Y in Mountain Iron/Virginia would be closing. They are requesting approval of this resolution in support of their mission to keep the building as an asset for the surrounding communities. This resolution does not commit the City of Buhl to financial support for the project. The resolution simply supports their mission to keep a resource in the community and in the area. Anything else you want to add, Ryan?
No, that's, this group approached the city asking for their support. If everybody's not familiar, the Y announced they're closing over in Mountain Iron. And then basically the group's just kind of looking to keep that building, as an asset, so citizens, residents can utilize it. So we're just at this time supporting their, process they go through to try to keep that alive and usable.
I took a tour of that 2 weeks ago. One of the entities I'm involved with on the board is considering it. And that pool, it would just be the pool. The fitness center, all of that would be something else. It's just that there's the pool, they got a little whirlpool there, they got a sauna in there, and they've got 2 locker rooms to go with it. And that's I think, all that they would get with that. So I think that's a pretty good idea.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Stuart.
I know there is a few residents in town that do utilize
Yes.
that, so it would be.
Yeah, they come from far and wide. I mean, if they could make that work. There is no public pool anywhere. The Virginia Rock Ridge, the Virginia Gilbert School District was going to build 2 pools, but they didn't build a second one because the cost overruns and everything with inflation and COVID and everything. So that was going to provide some relief, but then when the Y ran into the trouble, so this could be a valuable asset to the area. So I appreciate that. So is there a motion to approve Resolution 22-36?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Stuart. Is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Brandon. Any further comment, question, discussion? If not,
Who owns that building?
Not there.
no.
No.
The Y owns it technically till December 31st. At that time, the National YMCA will own it.
Okay.
So they're like trying to sell it right now and then take care of that before the National Y takes over. So that's what's going on. So. Okay, Ryan, would you please take the roll?
Counselor Pastori?
Yes.
Counselor Marcus?
Yes.
Counselor Carter?
Yes.
Counselor Lehman?
Yes.
Mayor Claridge?
Yes. Resolution approved. Now we'll go to 7B, new development finalized plat, discussion. Ryan, you want to start this discussion off and lead us through that?
Yeah, so basically past practice with the city once we get to the point where we need to finalize a plot and submit it to the county and give Engineer Janmick permission. Past practices, the county gave their blessing, okayed the final plat, and in your packet is basically the same image that was from the beginning on the new development. So, John, do you have anything to add?
They didn't get the final one, they didn't have a map. I didn't get Ryan the final map.
So we want to hold.
They don't have it, right?
No, they just have.
Yeah. I should get them a print where I just got the final plat, we needed to make some changes to it, so I mean, you could defer this till next meeting so they at least can see what it looks like. I mean, it's gonna be,
I think the council would appreciate that.
yeah.
I will move to table 7B. Is there support?
I'll support it.
Support by Stuart. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion is carried. So we'll take this up at the next meeting. Now we're on to 7C, 406 Mueller release, and that was laying in front of us there. Ryan, do you want to...
Yeah, this release is required because when the city originally recorded this property, there was a stipulation that a home needed to be built. It was verified there is a home built on that property, so the council just needs to approve the release. So we can sign off on it, and there's nothing holding back the sale of this property.
Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Carol, is there support?
I'll support.
Okay, more discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion is carried. Okay, 7D, procurement policy update. Ryan, I'll just move right into you and you can discuss this and we'll then open up for questions.
So with all the federal funds that the city has gotten, we need to stay in compliance with our single audit guidelines, and that basically means that we need to keep updated policies that are, in compliance with the federal guidelines. So one of those policies is procurement policy. Basically what has happened is the federal limits have raised on a number of things, mainly due to inflation and a few other price of goods, things like that. So basically we're just adjusting our policy to match the federal guidelines.
Before I ask for a motion, questions or comments from the council first?
So this is from our auditor?
Correct. So basically, policies like this procurement policy are something we need to, our auditor verifies that we're in compliance with the federal guidelines. One of those is a procurement policy, which basically deals with how the city purchases goods.
Those are some pretty high numbers that
Well, the one
they're
that's-
allowing us to work with. I'll tell you, it gets a little scary.
The one that stands
Yeah.
out is purchases go from 5,000 to 10,000, range increase from 25,000 to 175.
Yeah, that's huge.
I think
That's right, look, both of those even, that's a lot.
And the bottom one was sealed bids, but, I mean, it's kind of a lot. That just gives, does that still just give you the authorization to spend that, or?
No, I think the ones I'll just kind of go through them. So department heads, 1,000 to 5,000. Normally we like to bring major purchases to the council because we're small. So going from 1,000 to 5,000, again, we're just matching those federals, not saying, the city's gonna do past practice. If something should go to the council, it'll go to the council.
We did that a few years ago.
Yeah.
Increased that.
So we still have our purchasing policy that dictates how, whether it's me as a department head or Trent as a department head, this just needs to make sure it meets federal guidelines as our procurement policy. Doesn't mean we don't have to abide by our purchasing policy,
So
which
we have
is
a purchasing policy that's different from this.
correct. So, emergency repairs from 5 to 10, how often do we do that? But normally if something major is gonna go around, everybody in town is gonna know about it. So, and you'll probably be calling me. Micro purchase limit increase from 1 to 10. Again, we still have our purchase, small purchases range. I think one thing to put into perspective, this covers all size cities. And a lot of it doesn't apply to the size that.
From LA to us.
Exactly. So, sealed bids still need to go to the council for approval. The limit just increased.
Well, everything ultimately we're gonna know about and we'll take care of it, so. Yeah, those are big numbers. When I saw that at first, I thought, wow.
That's what I thought too, I'm like,
But once again, like I said,
And I think the way to look at this as the procurement policy compared to our purchasing policy, this is just a general guideline for the city as a whole, not really relating to the individual employees. That's more directed at our purchasing policy, which is a lot more stringent, I would say.
okay, is there a motion to approve the federal procurement policy as recommended by our auditor? I'll move.
I'll move, I'll support.
Okay, moved and supported. Further comment or discussion, anyone? We still are gonna stay within our policy guideline, procedural, and like I said, we're gonna know everything that's going on anyway, so. Further comment? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign, that motion's carried. Fiscal year 2023 budget levy discussion. Ryan, I'll just
So,
let you lead that.
since we set our preliminary levy, obviously Diana and I have been digging into ways we can reduce our preliminary levy amount. And this is gonna take some time as we start going through the individual departments at the next meeting, but, one recommendation, the initial recommendation we have to basically get our final levy number under 10% would be to pay off our 2 loans that we have for our fire truck and our grader. For the fire truck, we'd be using American Rescue Plan funds. Those were that basically $111,000 that the city got in due to COVID. We use those funds to pay off the new fire truck loan, and then as far as the grader, we dig into capital. I guess one thing to note is, yes, we would bring that balance down to around 27,000. But when you look at it, the city really upgraded most of our equipment needs in the Public Works Department. We have a newer loader, we have the grader, we just brought on a new lawnmower, street sweeper's fairly new. The only thing we're looking at probably in the next 2 to 3 years is like a 1-ton plowing truck, smaller dump truck. So I think we're still sitting quite comfortably, and kind of as you can see from our initial 17%, these 2 actions, which make a lot of sense, would bring us down under 10 to 9.6 as it is. So this would be our initial recommendation as far as getting that levy number down. Also in your packet, you can kind of see I included just a calculation with the help of St. Louis County on potential property tax increases based on our levy, with the kind of, as we've talked about in the past, the reduction in fiscal disparities that taxpayers will see for 2023, and just a couple different tables on, kind of how things are working, and just to note, these would just be the city's portion of property tax statements.
Well, I could see doing the fire truck one, because that's other money. But the equipment fund one, we could do it year to year and it's still not changing what we're doing. Take that money out of our bank account, but keep some money in our bank account. You're trying to narrow it down so we don't have much in there, but next year you could do the same thing, I'm saying. If the fiscal disparity doesn't come down.
Yeah,
instead of taking all that our money out of there and then, taking all our capital from the city, is just take what we need this year. And you're still lowering our budget by 17,000, but we're not emptying out our capital improvement fund, our capital equipment fund.
So you're saying prepay the next year's payment? Is that what you're trying to say?
Take the capital equipment, instead of paying off the grader, just make the payment this year so we can subtract that.
That's what I said, make a 1-year payment in advance.
Right. And then next year, if the disparity doesn't come down or go up, then we can do it again.
What you're really saying is you want a cash flow, better cash flow.
That's right.
Brian?
Just a year to year.
We're still going to carry that interest debt.
Yeah, correct.
But we're carrying it. That will not change your figures at all. It shouldn't, right?
No, it wouldn't.
No, it's not going to change our budget.
But you say in here that we will continue to build the capital street fund up every year. How does that get built up?
Well, basically, we allocate every year as part of the budget, we allocate a certain portion to different capital accounts. Like Councilor Marcus was saying, if we get more in fiscal disparities and we have a little bit more room to work with in the budget, I think we can look at increasing that capital amount to build that number up faster. I
just want to drain it, and we don't have to drain it.
I think
we're still getting what we want out of it, to lower our budget.
You're still
But
getting
we're
the
not
tax,
draining
you're
it.
still getting the tax break, the full
Yeah,
tax break
yeah.
that you're proposing, Ryan?
Right.
By just paying that 1 year ahead? Yes or no? That's the question.
Still,
We want to maximize as much savings as we can to the taxpayer for this next year.
Exactly.
Will that, what Johnny's saying, will that still maximize it? Yes or no? Do you know, or do you have to think on that?
I think I would have to check. I know what Councilor Marcus is saying. Essentially,
Yeah.
we'd be showing a certain, we'd be showing that yearly annual payment as a revenue coming in to offset that amount in the budget. I'm not 100% sure if we can make that work with the auditor.
I don't know, she's on a yearly deal. He just comes in every year and does the books.
Yeah.
I just would rather keep that money in the pot in case we do need something.
but if you're not paying it off, you're not really doing anything.
I mean, just if you brought the grader into Ziegler and work on it, the 17,000 that we have in the left, that wouldn't go very far fixing that grader.
No, I mean,
Or
obviously
any
we
of our
don't count
equipment.
on any major.
No, you don't. But, instead of, we'd still leave 75,000 in that fund. And like I said, year to year, you can do the same thing, that's all I'm saying, and then, you can see what the capital is doing. Then you can actually see what capital is gonna go into next year's equipment fund. You can kind of take a picture of that too, but I just suggest.
So what you're saying, you're taking that, so you'll reduce the levy by that much for that, with the 1 year payment, right?
Yeah,
That's all.
I'm saying
That's all. This, the way Ryan's doing it, saves 90,000, doesn't it? No.
No.
What are you saving?
Just the 14,000.
Okay.
Plus the interest. We're paying interest on.
Well, it's $800. I mean, I'm not gonna.
A year, a month.
A year, 6% on 14,000 or whatever the payment is $800.
Yeah, but if you're not paying off the loan, you still have the loan.
Well, I'm just.
I don't see how that's gonna do anything to the levy. You're still gonna have it there. Oh, yeah?
No, we're taking care of the levy.
Well, if we don't wipe out that, we're still gonna have to show, yes, we could show the money like Councilor Marcus is coming in as a revenue to offset that. But we're sitting here, we'd be sitting here having the same conversation again next year about what should we do. I think.
If fiscal disparities stay.
Yeah, we don't know that.
Well, I understand.
I see where Johnny's coming from, and I'm tending to like that because, like I said, if we get an emergency where we've got to go to the capital fund, then we've got to take it from somewhere else. And we've kind of draining it from somewhere else. I see that, but I like the idea that 1 year wouldn't hurt to see what fiscal disparities does. I went to a meeting with the mayors and Larson, I forget his first name, Ryan was there.
Brandon from St. Louis County.
From St. Louis County. And he said that a lot of people, they swing like this. So, and there's quite a few cities around here that did. So, and then a bunch got hit like this year. He said next year it'll go like that, but it'll be a different bunch. So he said, I can't promise you that you're going to go back to what your original number was. That's dependent on if you raise your taxes, how much, or if you do worse, if you reduce your taxes below zero, it comes back to bite you too. So it's kind of a fine dance you're doing in there. So we're gambling. If I was going to do this, I'd rather gamble for 1 year and say, hope that the fiscal disparities come back, because that can fill something, and then we can say next year, let's pay it off. I'd rather err on the side of caution with this economy, with what's going on. If people think that the potential recession is going to go away now because we had 2 great days in the stock market, they're sadly mistaken. I think it's going to correct back this weekend.
We're still paying the interest. When we make that payment, the interest is paying for that year. Whether we pay it this year,
if we pay it off now, it won't accrue the
You won't
interest
have anymore.
It won't accrue.
I know that. But you're still paying 6% on $93,000 or whatever it is, yeah.
4%.
75.
Well, the question becomes, do you want to delay 1 year, play it safe, or do you want to let everything go and just hope nothing happens? That's the question before us.
That's all I'm asking.
And we're just in discussion. We haven't done anything yet.
Question?
Yes.
John, are you saying to pay off the fire truck?
Well, that's coming out of different budget. That's coming out of this.
So that one would be paid?
That
Yes.
would be paid, yeah.
He's just talking
And
about.
then you're saying on the grader,
Yeah, just,
to make the interest payment or whatever?
no, you make the whole payment.
Or the
for
payment
year.
for 1 year?
And-
In advance,
Okay.
so that it affects our
Increases
levy.
our levy.
Right, Ryan? It's going to
Well,
decrease it the amount you want it to.
Well, I mean,
Just we're pushing it off a year. We're going to accrue more interest because we didn't pay it off, but so be it.
Well, not really.
Oh, yeah. If you pay it off now, it's dead in water. But if you don't, next year, you're going to still have that interest payment facing you.
Yeah, so to pay it in the first year, you're paying next year's interest and the year interest after that and the year and after that. You're just paying the 7-year interest on in one bunch. If you paid it off in the first year, you're still paying for 7 years of interest.
So the only negative I'm getting out of this is we will have to pay 1 year's worth of interest. Because if we pay it off next year, it's done, right?
Yep.
So right now, if we go his route, we will incur 1 year's worth of interest. And what was that amount, $600 or whatever?
Yeah.
And we will keep money in this account
Yes.
for emergencies.
Yeah. That's all I'm...
Is there any other, am I missing something? Is there
no,
any
you're
other
not
negative?
missing anything. I think we're putting too much, I mean, from a city's financial point, if we paid this off and something happened where, we needed major repairs to the grader, that's why the city maintains healthy reserves. It could be done in a bunch of different ways, whether it's in that capital account or, by operating expenses. I mean,
Well, that's what we did already. When we bought the grader, we bought a fairly new grader.
well, exactly. I mean, that's why our recommendation is to pay it off using our capital, because we have, newer equipment. We don't see the need for big time purchases in the next how many years, where next year, if we end up getting an inflow, a bigger allocation of fiscal disparities, we can always put more than we normally do back into that capital account.
We're still going to pay 4% on what's left. We pay the 1 year, we still got 4% interest for that next year. That's going to be on that big chunk of money. So that's Ryan's answer to John's answer about paying for 1 year. And then the question is, we bought the machine brand new. Is the warranty off on it
No, we still have a warranty on it.
for another year?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know, because now that's swinging me back opposite you, John.
It's coming from,
Go ahead.
I guess coming from Diane and my perspective, I mean, the city definitely has the ability to satisfy both of these right now, reduce this levy, rather than trying to complicate things by pushing it back a year and, essentially, we're solving, a headache potentially next year, this year, and we are well within our ability to do so.
So next year, if we pay this off this year and we're in the same hole this year that we have, or even more fiscal disparity, what are
The
we
fiscal
going to use?
disparities don't affect our levy. Fiscal disparities affect how much the levy the taxpayers are responsible for.
I know.
Okay.
Okay, then, and the second year, then what we use to lower our budget?
Well, this will be off the table.
Yeah, this will be off the
It'll be
table.
for the next how many years? You're talking me into it now, John, the other way.
Yeah, if you pay it off, you're gonna sky.
I just,
Well, I know where I'm going to go on this. Does anybody want to make a motion either way on this?
I'll make a motion, we pay it off first year and see what happens with the disparity next year and see where we're at.
Okay.
And leave money in our capital in case we need it.
Does everybody understand what John's motion is? That we'll just pay 1 year in advance.
Should we check with our finance clerk and auditor.
I don't think we have to.
I guess I would prefer to get clarity on what
Okay.
this motion would need to be, because I mean, you could, I definitely know what you're talking about and want you to do, and you want to do. I don't recommend it. I recommend paying both.
Well, I'm going to let the council know and the public know that, John, I'm not going to support that. I mean, if it comes up again next week, I'm pretty much sold that I would like to pay it off the whole year. Then that takes those next several years that we have to pay that. They don't have to monkey with the levy. It's gone.
I mean,
and we'll build up that reserve slow, get it back to where it's needed.
I mean, basically, Councilor Marcus's motion would be to pay off the fire truck with the ARP, or American Rescue Plan's phones, and use, this designated capital to cover our budgeted amount for the levy. That would be his motion at that.
John, could I ask you to amend your motion to, let's do this first. Why don't you make that motion to pay off the fire truck? Let's get an opinion on the second one. Let's bring this up at the next meeting. Would that work for you, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, we have till December.
I think let's get rid of the fire truck anyway. And then let's see what the auditor says. And this gives everybody a chance to think more about this and look into it more. John, put up a good...
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Okay, I'll support that. So this is just to pay off the fire truck. And we'll bring the other one back for discussion at the next meeting. Stuart?
I was gonna say, like, could we do it in two separate motions, but that'll be,
Yeah, this will suffice. And then next meeting, we'll have the same discussion, only with one item, or the grader on it.
and we'll have recommendation from finance.
Well, they'll tell us what to do.
Yeah, I
And then
mean,
once again, we'll look for a recommendation from both of you.
Yeah, I mean, this is Diana's, that both her and I concur on
Okay.
the recommendation in here. Okay.
That way we can
So
think
is it
some more
two
about this.
motions or one?
Just one motion. It's to pay off
Okay,
the
to
fire
pay off
truck. That's basically it. And what we're saying is.
And then the other-
The other one we're not talking about, that'll come back at the next meeting because John didn't include it in the motion.
Okay.
We don't need it. We know that it'll be on the next agenda. Further comment or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign, motion's carried. Fire truck will be off the books. And then we'll decide the next meeting if legally we can do what John's asking, or else we'll take it up both ways, so. Okay, we're on to councilors' comments. Carol, you're first.
Nothing.
Okay. Brandon, you're second.
All I got is what is going on with our sledding hill. John, do you know anything about that?
Well, they hauled what they could over there,
I
but
see that. Well, initially it was sloped down towards the old entrance, right?
yeah,
Now it's kind of looking like
the hill.
they're sloping it back towards the other direction. I just was curious what's going
I
on with
didn't
it.
go down.
I saw him piling stuff. I didn't go
Yeah.
look.
The only reason I'm asking, my boy is all excited about it this year again.
I'll have Trent check and we'll have an update.
Well, they're here tomorrow. Trent should go talk to them. And what's the preference? That's what I want to know.
I don't really know.
There today.
Huh?
Joe and Saab hauled some material there the
Yeah,
last couple of days, so
yeah.
I don't know if
But
that's...
the way it was angling before was following the old path, and now this one looked like it was. They were making it wider on top. It looked like.
Yeah, it's-
But we can't send that anywhere.
No.
I like that longer.
Yep, down the.
I think that's the way I'd want it to go personally.
I think they still have a cat out there too.
Do they?
Yeah.
And maybe they were. It just looked like it was starting to get real
Well,
steep up like that. So I don't know. I was just curious what.
We'll
Go
look.
the hill by the bank.
John will.
That's called Big Hill.
I don't know.
Oh, we got a bigger one now.
Yeah. But that one might be nicer, but it's a long trek back up
Yeah,
to
yeah.
it.
But Engineer Jamnik knows what we're looking for.
Yeah.
There's.
Yeah.
We don't have snowmobiles.
The way that was originally
Bring it back
plotted,
up.
I liked it. John, I think that's what you had started at first, was that straight shot down, right?
Yeah, go down.
Yeah, and I'd like to see that's the way it would go, and I think that's what Brandon's asking for too now. So if Trent and John can check with Joel and Sop or Casper, whoever's finishing that off for us. Anything else?
No, that's all I
Okay. John, you're next.
Nothing.
Okay. Stuart.
Just highlight the police activity. They had 18 medical calls, they had 5 disturbances, they had 4 thefts, 3 assistance other agencies, a couple public assistance, and a lot of one things for everything else, but a total of 3.78 hours a day for them. From the Buhl Economic Development Authority meeting, business was Habitat for Humanity public hearing, T-Mobile easement agreement, South Industrial Park, and spring flower purchases. So,
Do you want to comment? Those went up a little bit.
Yeah, the basket shot up from $70 to $95. But I guess we've been paying $70 for the past 5 years, I think, so it was probably the time for
It's
us.
$25 a
Probably
basket.
got a different vendor too.
Yeah, plus a different vendor.
Oh, okay.
I think this year was a little, they didn't look as nice as they did the previous years, so.
Those come from Pennsylvania or New York. They're not,
They're pretty, those are pretty good in the past, so.
well, we get them through Mary.
Oh,
We always go through Mary's Lakes
Yeah.
in Florida.
She orders chisholms and ours are on the same truck and we get a rate that way.
I see.
Yeah, so that, thanks, Stuart, for that part. Anything else, Stuart?
no, nothing.
Okay. Well, mayor's comments will be brief. For this week's mayor's comments, I'd like to touch on a few topics that were discussed at a recent meeting with the Buhl Chisholm Police Chief, Vern Mannern. Chief Mannern and his department are continuing to address blight in town. His department, along with the city attorney, will continue working collaboratively to address these problem areas. I would like residents to know that individuals are being cited, fined, and in some cases prosecuted. The city is using all the resources at our disposal. While this process takes more time than we would like to see, we are continuing to move forward to hold those in violation accountable. Number 2, the next topic that was discussed was parking of campers on city streets. Numerous individuals have been cited for illegally parking these vehicles on city streets. These situations create safety concerns as they may cause reduced visibility for other motorists and may prevent the safe passage of emergency vehicles and snowplows. And the other thing I've noticed with some of these people, they're having the exit of the camper out onto the street, so you've got a metal stairs sticking out 2 to 3 feet, and a car, if 2 cars are meeting and they pull over, it could really cause some damage to one of the cars or an accident. So the police are working on that and looking into that. As winter approaches, I would like to remind residents that calendar parking is set to begin on November the 1st. The Chisholm-Buhl Police Department will continue to enforce calendar parking, and those in violation will be cited and potentially towed. Please do your part to keep the streets of Buhl clear so our city crews can clean the streets in a timely manner and emergency vehicles can get where they want to go without being disrupted. And with that, I am done. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Stuart. Is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Brandon. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned at 7:11.